Hi guys, what's up? I hope everybody's doing good. And I also hope you're doing your exams well, which obviously I would not like to discuss, and which is exactly why I stopped coming live on these sessions and putting up a recorded one because the message that I want to convey is more important than the form I do it. So this time we have a 2.5 day holiday for audit, which is a good thing. And before I begin up with any plan or go further with this, I would like to give you a friendly piece of advice because I am also a faculty for EIS and SM. I somehow believe that you should dedicate some part of this 2.5 days even to something like EIS, and this also being the last time for people who are writing both groups on EIS. Some of you have very fantastic plans of writing selective things, trying for exemptions and audit. So all can stick to your plans. But if you have EISSM in your lot, I believe you should dedicate some time from this 2.5 days to at least EIS because that will give you an additional edge on revision. Rest is up to your choice. Maybe half a day out of this should also be good. Or if you are very confident about audit, you probably can give even like slightly more than half a day to EIS. That is just a friendly piece of advice, which is why I haven't not written anything about it on screen. On screen, I have some things important which I'm going to discuss in this last minute guidance video, which is very important, which is what we do every attempt. So now also, I would like to tell you certain very important things. This time, many people, owing to various reasons, which I don't want to discuss in detail right now, but are targeting an exemption in audit. And your idea is to get through your group one done, get an exemption in audit, do something with respect to FMSM, and like going forward, you don't want to carry some baggage to the May 24 attempt. So each of you have your own plans and choices, but one common goal for many people is to get 60 marks in audit. So I hope this video will really help you do that. And without delaying much, I will get into my strategy for how do we go about these 1.5 days. Splitting days into parts of study times are up to you because some of you might study in the morning, some of you might study in the night, and different people have different choices about the study timing. So I'm not really getting into the timeline, but what I will be doing is splitting the syllabus for you so that you have a proper utilization, as I told you. Now, the main themes that we are going to discuss through videos: one, how do we break down the syllabus, which is the first part that we are going to discuss. Then, how to use the full proper time in the exam, because many people, they're finishing audit really fast. They're saying that 3 hours is sometimes too long for us. We have finished off in our exam in 2.5 hours itself, 2 hours 40 minutes itself. Am I writing in the right way or not? And for some people, 3 hours also is not enough. So because like they write so much as in terms of introduction and other things. So it is also important for us to know what should be present in the exam. So watch this video completely, guys. This spending a little time right now will be of great help to you over the next 2.5 days. It should help you prepare well. So I'm going to get certain things done in detail. So have patience, listen to everything carefully, and I hope whatever I tell you will help you get great marks. And the minimum target right now should be 60, and anything above that is a bonus. So take it and enjoy. The first thing that I want to clarify here is generally many people in the verge of thinking that they're bad in writing descriptive answers. What they resort to is to try and solve MCQs. Too many MCQs in trying to solve in this less time of 1.5 day. Generally, that's what they do, and they think that directly some of these questions can end up coming in the exam and they'll score marks. Everything is absolutely fine, but a great deal of things is that what if they don't? So my friendly advice again, which I've been giving for years together right now, is that you really do not need any kind of special preparation for MCQs. Please focus on the topic, study well, focused on what you're dealing with, what you're doing. In fact, be focused on the content. Once you are oriented to the content and you get that done well, I'm sure you'll be able to answer MCQs because like there is no special preparation needed. The case studies that they're going to ask, are not like comprehension, their answers are going to be inside them. You have to apply all the knowledge of what you have from standard sections and then only answer them. So please focus on the content. Marks in the MCQs will come, but this is a very, very important piece because 30 marks here plus a set of 14 marks from correct incorrect part, which I will obviously going to be helping you with. Because many people, though they know the answers, they end up doing something wrong when it comes to the correct incorrect stuff. So let's see how that has to be sorted out. Now, first of all, before we proceed in discussing the exam part of the story, let us talk about the syllabus breakdown. In my opinion, what would be the best syllabus breakdown for audit? Okay, I will break down audit syllabus into four parts. What I normally do in four parts is part one that consists of, yeah, part one is something that will consist of content from chapters 1 to 8, and I will exclude chapter 6, that is audit in computerized environment, from here, because that will take you off beat, and it's not really a thing that you have to do. But from chapters 1, that is right from nature, scope and objective, till we're doing analytical procedures, this part is one of the major parts of your preparation. Followed by, I will always emphasize part 2 to be company audit, which is a very very important part of question paper, sections 139 to 148, followed by audit reports ranging from standard number 700, 705, 706, and 701. Those standards are damn important. Followed by the company auditors report order 2020. Obviously has a lot of questions which are generally being asked in the exams straight up, like 3 marks each. So this is what is the second lot. Now, first lot or second lot, which one do you want to pick up first? Is totally dependent on what exactly is your comfort zone when it comes to this. Many people, what they have done is they have done revisions of company audit multiple number of times. Okay, because these are sections and these are kind of interesting and all that. They have done multiple revisions of this, and maybe you have only glanced through Caro, but when it comes to the exam, you need to be very precise as to what each clause talks about, what the content orientation is, and how do you use your understanding of that clause to write the answers. Many people randomly write fixed answers are to be verified as per Caro, but that's not how you write an answer, right? That is exactly where they lose marks, but they think they wrote correct. These two parts, what you see right now on screen, are worth anywhere between at 70 to 75 marks. I'm just saying that everything put together, because you should understand something. Your question paper, you are thinking is for 100 marks, what you have to write, but including choice, that we get an extra 14 to 17 marks. So the question paper ranges anywhere between 114 to 117 marks. That means they have a huge spread of asking questions. That is exactly why I want part 3, which is another very important part of your presentation, to be, or part 3 of your preparation should be chapter number 9, that is vouching and verification, which is audit of items of financial statements, right? I'll say audit of items of financial statements. Then special audits ranging from government audit to audit of a hospital, cinema hall, LLPs, cooperative societies, an entire set of special audits. And then we have the category where we've missed out audit of banks, bank audit, we put that here as well. And then we will also bring what we excluded here, chapter 6, computerized environment. The last part would be standards that have not been covered the beginning. There are certain standards which don't get covered here in part 1, right? But near 26 standards which are part of your syllabus, 17 standards get covered here somewhere around. Okay, the other 5 or 6 standards, 8 miscellaneous, whatever are there, they get covered here. That won't require much time, but questions are coming from them. Like, like standard number 250, 299, okay, 550, I'm saying etc. because there are some standards that are not covered. So when you see chapters 1 to 8, now like say 520, separate chapter on analytical process, it gets covered. Sampling gets covered as a separate chapter. Risk assessment gets covered. Further audit procedures, almost all the standards of audit evidence, they all get covered. But only thing is, like those that don't get covered, they fall in this category. This is the best syllabus breakup that I can have for you. And if you are able to cover these in the slots or parts as we've made it, it will be very, very easy to finish the whole syllabus. Now, before an exam like this, where you have to write 100 marks of theory, you have solid confidence only when you finish a lot of syllabus, because when many chapters are pending, that itself pulls many people down. Like, I don't know, really, I didn't finish the syllabus, only what will I go and write, and this that. Many people have panic, not on what will they write, but it is totally about what they know and what they don't. So this is the way you break down the syllabus. I'm pretty sure you should be in a good position to cover up everything. Another question comes around order. The order of understanding is very important. Now, should I go only in the same order as I told you? Since here we have 2.5 days, and I specifically have requested you to dedicate half a day to EIS, I'll make this plan as if still have only 1.5 day, and only that, like the extra day, we can use it for additional things. Otherwise, on day one of your break, you can either go with part 1 first, followed by part 2, part 1 or 2, whichever you take first, like that. That is precisely today, when you're watching this right after the exam for advanced accounts, whatever time you've left with, tonight you can finish one part. Now, if you can't finish the whole part 1, so if you are taking up part 2 and you're sitting up long late night today, because, and that too tomorrow being a holiday, if you want to stretch and finish at one go, some people want to like kind of take a break right now, sleep early, wake up early tomorrow, however it's your comfort. That's why I didn't want to kind of tell you timings. I wanted to just go by the first part of your preparation should be an attack on one of these parts. If you're taking part 2, try to finish at least 75% of that one sitting from, like, of course, with a dinner break in between, sit and then go for it and finish it off, and then take a good night's sleep. And then on the day 2, that is when I say day 1, this is day 1 right now when you're watching this. Day 2 is a very important day. Whichever part is left over here, finish that 25%. Now, if you've targeted part 1 first, okay, that is on day 1 you went part 1, then try to wrap up 50% here. Then on day 2, you can in the first half wrap up 50%. Then day 2, you can have the second session, that will be a sitting on part 3, which is slightly going to be a task, because this is not very, something that is very encouraging, content oriented, read and understand. It's not that kind of a thing, right? There is a lot of theory. So I will suggest you something right after we break down the syllabus, because I do have some playlists which many of you have already watched, and I've seen how many people have been following that revision in the last few days. The count is amazing. So you already are aware of which video I'm talking about from the playlist. You can always go to that. Shorten your preparation of these chapters in such a way. Of course, these two you still have to go by reading it, but for 9 and 13, that is these two chapters, there's a video I'm marking it here, so that if you want to at a later point in time, we'll come back and mark that. So that is what we are talking about. Using this time, this actually should be sufficient. And if you're going by day 2 third part, you can get back to part 1. Okay, and part 1 where you can do a revision. And when you do part 1 revision, that is when day 2, maybe this will be the evening or night slot that I'm talking about already, there you can revise. When you're doing this revision, you can do the mock test paper revision, you can run through the RTP, okay, MTP and RTP of current and previous attempts if possible. Okay, and I don't want you to do the whole thing. You just have to quickly glance it through. You don't have to sit there and kind of, because if you get one or two questions wrong and then you start panic, that is not what I want. Okay, I want you to use this with a very prudent ideology, just to run through. Sometimes questions are directly coming from previous RTPs, so that's why I want you to use this. And here I'm going by day 3, which generally is the exam day. So whatever is left over, we brush through that early morning part, like the part 4. Now, if you have patience and you are going with a fourth session on day 2, you can still finish part 4 here. but I will always suggest you for a part 2 revision on the day of the exam. Part 2 quick revision, not more than 1.5 hours. You should not dedicate more than that. Company audit reports and Caro have to be revised within 1.5 hours. That is like a quick revision, again for which we have a 2 hour video, but that is a 2 hour revision video which you can watch it in, like on that day I think you can even go for 1.5x or even 2x, where you can finish the whole thing in 1 hour's time. If you don't want to revise on your own, you can always go along with me on the video, and that I guess should be a lot helpful. So this is the order, and I'm going by this, keeping the extra day completely to your choice and liberty. Okay, this still I've given you a 1.5 day plan only. Now, for those people who say I am not really focused on EIS, I want to use that one extra day for audit. If that is the case, then just make an additional plan for you guys. Then you will have day 1, then day 2, then day 3, day 4. This is the exam day, right? So what we will do is on day 1, we'll definitely pick up only part 2. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you would not be able to finish the whole of part 2. So going by, try to again finish like close to 60% of this, push it on to day 2, do it coolly because you're anyway not really targeting AISSM. Get on back to part 2. That is part 2, when I say, it means whatever leftovers are there in the company audit and stuff like that, finish off 40%. And then in the second half of this day, start with chapters 1 to 3. Now this is going to take a lot of time because 3 is, though it's a number, 3 is a very wide chapter, right? It has documentation and audit evidence. So it's going to probably consume the whole of day, and kind of maybe it will rush up till evening also. So then if you have a time slot that day, you can probably touch base chapters 7 and 8, which means sampling and analytical business you can finish. Then on this day, you will still continue with part 1 because you're not done with it. You 1, 2, 3, and 7, 8 are done. Here you can try and finish 4 and 5. And then probably in the second session of this day, you can go with chapters 12 and 6 you can finish, and in the third, that is the evening session of this day, you can do 9 and 13 to brush away. On the exam day, again, I want all of you to have a complete revision of chapters 1 to 8, and of course it is always including 6, and part 2, the whole of company on audit report. Now this should entirely take 3 hours, for which 1.5 hour each, more than enough. This is the detailed breakup of the time, guys. You can have a clear idea of how to do this. This is what many people struggle with, not knowing what to do with so much syllabus. So if you have spent these 15 minutes with me, it should have given clarity. You have come till here, use it properly, guys. That's what I'm saying, because this video is going to be up for another 10 minutes, where I'll also talk about a few more things. So this 25 minutes to half an hour video should be of a great help for you for the next 2.5 days. That's my idea. So this is the order for people who want to finish for 1.5 day and use that extra day for AISSM. That one extra day also, if you want to use an audit, this is the plan. So in this video, I've tried and given everything that I can. So also, if you're watching this and you think any of your friends also should know it, share it with them. That's just something that you can do to help them up. Now, I would like to quote a couple of additional aspects here which are very important. One is about the exam time usage. Okay, exam time usage is a very important thing. The 15 minutes of reading time and how everything goes on, I am going to explain you that. I want all of you to put concentration on that. So here the crucial time is just 15 minutes. First I'll tell you about the reading time, because no matter how much we shout about this, people still end up doing whatever they want in this 15 minutes. Going there with the proper plan is very important, because I hope you have already used 15 minutes productively in the other exams. But when it comes to an exam like audit, it's very important to have a like a winner mindset, and that winner mindset can come from this 15 minutes. When you read questions, the first question can sometimes be a little odd, very scary, or probably like 1A, 1B, both bits are something that you don't know. You will decide that question paper is tough, and then you read a couple of correct incorrect questions, and you're not able to decide whether it is correct or incorrect, so you got stuck there only. So a very important alert that I'm going to give you here is about how to use the 15 minutes time. Okay, In 15 minutes, what are the things to be done? The main focus in this 15 minutes should be to decide the order to write. Of course, you can make amends anytime, but decide the order to write, because you don't know what to write. Then 15-20 minutes into the exam, once you write, you finished only one question, and then you are like, you don't know where you stand, what to do. Always try and finish the MCQs first. That is always the best thing to do, because it is easy to score. And then what you do is come to the true or false. Don't read true or false questions during this 15 minutes. It is a classic waste of time. I'll tell you why. Because when you read one or two questions, like I said, you get stuck in a loop. You start thinking whether it is correct or incorrect, waste all the time. So you do one thing. First, the second point that I'm mentioning is order to read. The order to read will be starting from second question. Starting from question number 2, because question 1 on true false anyway compulsory. So start from question number 2 and go until last question. And once you finish doing this, okay, then decide in which order you have to write these questions. Now, then I think this should be done anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes. It will take generally that only. Now, in the last 3 minutes, I mean, again, depending on 3 to 5 minutes, how much you start reading true or false. Don't mark anything, with the pen on pencil on question papers and all that. Okay, start reading correct, incorrect. This is something very important. When you not only read correct, incorrect, I would also want you to start your answering with that, because that will be the last thing you will read in the reading time, and then answer booklets will be given to you and you start writing with them only. Because this is the only slot where you can get a 14 out of 14, which is going to be a very, very important scoring aspect, right? So getting 14 out of 14 is a very important target to take your numbers above 60. No matter how good you do in the MCQs, this 14 is very important. So, and they also want you to write the reason. So don't write true, false, correct, incorrect, and just leave it. Or write the question again to justify that. I've seen a teen number of times despite telling people I'm fed up over the last 10 years of my teaching career about telling people, understand, nobody's going to give you 1 or 2 marks for just writing correct or incorrect. We need the reason. And in the reason, you got to quote this essays or section numbers from the Companies Act, whichever are needed. The respective reason, very important. If so and so thing is true, why it is true, right? If something is called, if in the question they are giving you something and say this is called sampling, and if it is not sampling, don't write the reason as it is not called sampling. What is sampling? You have to write that. So please understand, rewriting the question in a different tone is not being the explanation, and it is not counted like that. Many people have their own perspective about, they'll write the whole question again and change one word, use something called not. Not going to get 2 marks for that. Please don't do such silly mistakes, right? Quote the section numbers or standard numbers wherever necessary. Only then you're going to quote it. And please listen to this point carefully. You write in the side heading correct or incorrect. Many people, they don't write that, and then they write the whole story, and then last line this statement is correct or incorrect. No, it is correct or incorrect. Just like how they give it in the suggested answers, you better put in the side heading correct or incorrect, and then say. And now see, I've shown this visually on screen to you, but still, I definitely, after the exam, if anybody sends me, I can still show you 1 or 2 papers where they would have written the paragraph directly. Right, correct or incorrect in the side heading, and then explain. And when it comes to question and answers, please everybody listen to this very, very carefully again. As in question and answers, rule number 1, write in points. Don't write lengthy paragraphs which because uh, lengthy paragraphs is a big no. Okay, and lengthy paragraphs are not appreciated. Write in points. Now the next question obviously will be how many. For understanding how many points to write, it is also important to understand the number of marks. Sir, if for 4 marks question, if I write 4 points, is it enough? No, there is no rules, right? Depending on the marks, and that too, specific number of marks. For an 8 marks, they are not generally asking nowadays, right? You will not write the whole booklet, and for 4 marks, you will not write 4 lines and say I'll expect. Please decide this on a very circumstantial basis, depending on the marks. For a 2 marks, you don't have to write 3 pages. At the same time, for 4 marks, if 6 points are there, you should not write 4 and say, because they're asked for 4 marks, I'll write only 4. No. 6 points are there, write all the 6. 8 points are there, write all the 8. See what is the timeline that will be available, and accordingly you can decide. I think by now you should be prudent enough to decide the length of the answer. Don't write unnecessary introductions. Don't write some definitions because you know them. Don't do such things. And always answer in points. Make sure to leave a line space between one point to the other. Number the points. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can always number them. Neat presentation is a very important thing. I'm not writing on screen, but please do take care of handwriting. Some people's handwritings are like doctors. They're not very suitable and appreciable in our exams. So please do make sure that you take care of that. Other than that, I don't have any serious suggestions when it comes to question and answers. Now, there are some questions where you have questions from Companies Act. So do we have to put up headings like facts of the case? If you want to do that, you can always do facts of the case. Okay, provision, which provision is attracted, explanation to that provision, and the final conclusion. You can always write like this, like how some of you have written answers in law. You can always do this, but only for Companies Act cases, and case where you have the answer in this format. You don't create a format like this and try to work it out. Okay, so other than that, I don't think anything will be necessary here. So that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to obviously tell you with respect to the breakage of syllabus, and the order that you want to follow, time usages, and presentation. I'm done with all this, so I will wrap up this video by quickly giving you the last leg of help that I can, completeness, so that this 30 minutes that you spend should be valuable enough. So I have a channel on YouTube, which obviously is what you're watching this video on. In that channel, specifically a playlist, I would not mind if I can show you that. Yeah, those who are going to the channel for the first time, you probably can in the search bar you can hit my name, then it will take you to the channel. Once you go to the channel, you can go to the playlist tab like this and scroll up a little bit. You will find a specific CA course related audit in blue, very vibrant, visible. CA Inter Auditing Quick Revision. Just click on that, and you will obviously find a long list of videos that can help you score the best. If you haven't done any revision, like say you can see the number count there, 10 videos and 2.5 days. If you are going with this at even 1.5x, I'm telling, even majority of you are first timers, it can be of great help to you also. I am not giving any guarantee though, but those of you who have been following the channel from quite some time, those of you who watch these videos already multiple number of times, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you. Get to that, and the headings, it is clearly given what should be the content that is being covered inside, so that you have a clear insight of what you're doing. And in this, I would specifically want a mention about this one, where in part 6, watching verification tips, that is kind of a like 1 hour 48, that is 2 hour video, which gives you an insight about solving problems on chapters 9 and 13, which many people have. Do watch that video. Probably again, like I said, at increased would also help, and rest everything has been clearly marked as to what this is. This 10 videos could obviously help you a great deal. So that's it, guys. That's what I have from my side on this. So I hope everybody's doing their exams well, and I want all of you to do well here also. Those of you who have still think that you'll write audit and not write EISSM, it's a request from my side that you guys can try out writing EISSM after you come back from audit. A video will be waiting on that day, as well as to discuss the 1.5 day strategy for EISSM. So for now, that's it, guys. I'm signing off here, wishing you all the very best. If you watch the video all through, that's a 30-minute video that you've completely watched, then make sure that these 30 minutes are to productive use in the next 2.5 days and come out with flying colors. I wish each one of you get that 60 plus, so that you don't have to write this subject ever again, and come soon to final so that we can catch up there. I wish you all the very, very best for the upcoming exam, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.